The American Society of Magical Negros was released in theaters over the weekend, and I went to go see it, so let's review. Now, leading up to this movie, it stirred up some controversy, mainly because of the title. Some people felt comfortable saying it, obviously people like me, but then there were some people that do not have the same skin tone as me that didn't feel comfortable saying it. But it's okay, you can say it. But even outside of the title, people were also calling it woke garbage again. And personally, woke is a word that I have come to hate over the past couple of years, mainly because it has become a buzzword for people to use to describe things that they don't like. But I saw the trailer for this and I was intrigued just for the plot alone, but then I saw the rest of the trailer and I was a bit concerned but hopeful maybe the movie could be more than what the trailer sold me, so here we go. The American Society of Magical Negros is about Aaron, who is an artist, and then he gets recruited by this secret society of, you guessed it, magical black people. But basically they go around making white people feel more comfortable around black people by doing various acts to make them feel comfortable, like serving them or helping them gain confidence, whatever the case may be. And so Aaron, he becomes a magical black person himself. He gets assigned this dude that works at a tech company, and he helps him fall in love with this girl that Aaron had met early on in the film in a coffee shop. And so now it gets caught in a love triangle between the three of them. And Aaron struggling to whether or not go through with his feelings for this girl or just help his client fall in love with the girl that he has a crush on. Now, how did I feel about this film? Well, I did think the movie already had an interesting premise. Worst thing they could do is turn this into some love triangle rom-com. And what do? They turn it into a simple love triangle rom-com, which is about the laziest thing you could do when you have a premise that is magical black people going around finding white discomfort by doing various acts to make them feel better. And look, I don't require every movie to have a deeper meaning. I can enjoy some fun, simple entertainment, or in this case, a fun, simple rom-com. But when you have such an interesting premise that you turn into a rom-com, it gets a little irritating. But to the movie's credit, I did think the first 20 minutes was interesting because, you know, he gets in a situation where he's a bit overlooked because he's black, and then he gets recruited by the secret society. And everything involving the secret society of magical Negros, I was legitimately entertained by because they were going through the history and the logistics of how they do things. They even have a little meter that monitors the fear within white people. And they even go further into the concept of a magical Negro and how that has affected film and real life in a sense. But everything outside of that was meh at best. Now, Justice Smith, he plays Aaron, and he's just a modern day typical awkward black person. I mean, the first time he encounters Elizabeth, which I'll get into in a bit, but the first time he encounters her, he's just checking her out and he's just awkward about it. And I've seen Justice Smith do good in other things. And I thought he would have been good here, but I guess he just wasn't given the best material. David Alan Grier plays Roger, who is the mentor to Aaron. Now, David Alan Grier, he is a legend in his own right, and he is funny. And I thought this was one of the better performances that he's given within his career, but he just wasn't funny enough, or he didn't bring enough funny that I thought he was going to bring. Drew Tarver plays Jason, who is Aaron's client, and he does seem well-meaning at first, but then throughout the movie, he just becomes more and more unlikable. Then there's An Lee Bogan, who plays Elizabeth, or Lizzie for short, but she's the love interest of Aaron and Jason in a certain degree. But I did legitimately like the chemistry she had with Justice Smith, and she was a bit of a bright spot in the movie, which is weird for a movie about magical Negroes. But she's one of the few actors in this movie that just felt comfortable and charismatic. You also get some other, at best, solid performances from Aisha Hines, Nicole Byer, who is the head of the American Society of Magical Negros, and every time she came on screen, I chuckled or smiled. Like, she had some of the best comedic material, I must say. Particularly involving her using magic. When she comes out and gives announcements, she is floating up in the air, but then once one of the magical black people, they do wrong, they lose all their magic, and then she has people come up and bring a ladder with a chair on top, and she's just angry that she has to do this instead of use magic. Oh, I should specify that if you fail with your client, everyone loses their magic, and all the black people die. Who wrote this shit? Michaela Watkins is also in the film, and she's fine. Now, is this movie quote-unquote woke? Yes and no. I didn't feel like they leaned too much into the wokeness, but there's a part in this movie that people are describing as the Barbie speech. And while there was some truth to it, it did come out of nowhere. And that's also a problem I have with this movie. Is the very end of this movie is like, once the quote unquote Barbie speech gets going, that's when the movie just feels like it's just rushing to the finish line and it's just wrapping everything up quickly as possible. In the end, the American Society of Magical Negroes is a mixed bag for me. Do I think it's bad? No, but it's not as good as I'd hoped it'd be. I'm gonna give the American Society of Magical Negroes the shoulder shrug emoji. But I am very disappointed.